Hey y'all, today we're out at Vivero Growers, a nursery out in Dripping Springs, Texas, and I wanted to talk to you about 5 ways to bring curb appeal to your house for the spring, the front of your house. So 5 tips. Number 1, we're obviously standing in a greenhouse, so let's talk about landscaping quickly and ways you can very easily upgrade. If you look at annuals versus perennials, a very quick difference on that. Annuals are going to be the flower that grows for one season after you plant it and then it dies out. A perennial is a plant that continues to grow. It'll die out in a season, but then it grows back the next season. So that's a great way to make a plant last longer. So I'm going to show you a couple of options of plants that I like. Now we live in Texas, so we're really looking at a hot climate, but definitely when you start landscaping, look at your soil and your climate and your shade. There's so many things to consider, so we'll definitely do more series in the future about landscaping. But annuals versus perennials. The first annual, the one annual I'm going to show you today, is actually called the Laura Bush Petunia. This is a really cool new species that actually came out very recently, I think about 8 years ago. And they were looking for a petunia that would go through the summer. Now, normally a petunia is something we plant toward the end of the fall for a winter bloom. This is actually a petunia that will grow through the summer. So that's why it's called Laura Bush. It was grown for our Texas climate so that we could have a petunia in the summer, and it's a great pop of color. So that's an annual. A great perennial that I love using in my landscaping projects, it's very, very hardy, is the Lantana. Now, there are over 150 species of Lantana. This one is particularly called the Lucky Lantana, and this is the sunrise color variation. Seriously, y'all, there are a lot of different lantanas, so do your research before you pick one. They can grow different heights, but this is a great hardy plant that is going to come up new every season, so that's awesome. Lantanas can be really short, some really tall, but they're very hardy. The third and final species that I want to talk about is the ice plant. Now, I have actually 2 variations of color on the ice plant here. This is actually a succulent, so it's going to be drought tolerant. Now, if you live in a hot climate like we do, consider doing a xeriscaping option. So that's going to be where we have no sod, no mulch. You're using decomposed granite and boulders and rocks and a lot of drought tolerant plants so that you can make it through that summer heat without the sacrificing of your plants. So great landscaping tips here at the nursery. We can seriously keep going, but I'll skip to my second point, which is I love adding planters, y'all. There are so many great planter options out there that are modern or traditional or really just luxurious options that are made of terracotta, concrete, cement, terrazzo. So really do some research. We'll add some taglines at the bottom here that are great places that I love looking at planters. Consider adding them at the front door, at the curb. They really bring some height and variation. It's almost like putting a piece of furniture on your front stoop. So I love planters. Now, number 3, y'all know I love paint. You know I love color. So a great easy way and really inexpensive way to add a pop of color to the front of your house is to just paint the exterior door. We did a baby moon trip to Palm Springs last year before Sunny was born, and y'all, the doors in Palm Springs were so inspiring. Joey and I were driving down the road just like hopping out everywhere. Why can't we have fun pops of color on our homes here? So I highly recommend adding a pop of color to your front door. Lots of suggestions there, and it's so simple, and honestly, 1 gallon of paint and you're done. 35 bucks. Now, point number 4, actually, I love the idea of adding decorative house numbers. So a lot of times we see house numbers that are just spray painted on your curb. Take it to the next level, y'all, and get some really fun architectural style house numbers. They can range in heights from usually 4 to 7 inches, I think. Really inexpensive way to just add some nice character to the front of your house. And my 5th and final idea for curb appeal for spring 2019 is to just change your mailbox. You don't have to be on a high-end budget. We don't have to do a real permanent stone or brick mailbox. You can add an architectural, cute, fun mailbox. Something like Modbox is a company that I love. They're real retro style with 2-tone metal, a throwback to the 50s, perfect for the Palm Springs vibe. But change your mailbox. get something that's a little bit unique. Look at something with a color, or look at something that's gonna add to the architecture of your home. No matter what size budget you're on, those are my top 5 ideas for how to bring curb appeal to the front of your house for spring 2019. I'm personally a spring summer girl, so I'm ready for this season. Hope you are too. Y'all, if you're enjoying this show, if you're enjoying what I'm telling you and teaching you, please stay tuned, please subscribe, and we're gonna keep the content coming every Wednesday. Thanks, y'all. We'll see you next week.